Meanwhile, what if there was a job that paid more than $100,000 and you only had to meet a handful of times a year? We all know about the state's money crisis, but it's offering just that with positions on one of its hundreds of boards or commissions. One Central Coast lawmaker made a big enough ruckus during this budget go-around to cut some of that spending. The Center for Investigative Action went to work to find out if there's room for more savings in the long list of commissions, plus one commission that's getting it right. Here's Brooke Holmquist.
This is how many commissioners we have statewide.
It's nearly 6 feet long, the list of existing state agencies, including some of the boards and commissions. Thanks to a push from San Luis Obispo Assemblyman Cacho Achajian, this list just got a little shorter when the governor signed the new budget last week.
And the governor challenged me as well, where would you cut or where to cut? So I gave him a list of cuts that will not hurt your average person.
One cut that made this budget? The Department of Personnel Administration will merge with the State Personnel Board, saving $6 million a year.
We deal with very small issues and we deal with very large issues.
Santa Cruz County Supervisor Mark Stone said some of the other state boards and commissions could take a page from the California Coastal Commission. Stone's been a member for 2 years.
Basically, it's a volunteer.
Well, not quite, but a lot better than some others. The 12 commissioners meet once a month for 3 days and receive $100 per diem. That comes out to about $3,600 a year. Compare that to the Workers' Compensation Appeals Board chairman, who takes home $132,000, just a little more than each of his 7 members. They also meet only once a month. The Gambling Control Commission's 5 members meet twice a month, but make $128,000 a year. And if you got rid of the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board, it would save $1.2 million a year because each of its 14 members also gets $128,000. But even Assemblyman Achajian, who used to be on the Coastal Commission, thinks it could be reduced.
We were 12 of us. Now, what if we were 7 or 5 of us? Wouldn't that serve the purpose?
Mark Stone doesn't think so. Stone says he and the rest of the commission are the gatekeepers for all of the California coast, and that his office is as streamlined as it's going to get.
It needs more resources if it's going to improve its level of service. That's one of the biggest complaints about the commission, is that it's slow and it's difficult to get things through.
But Achajian's cause has support. Local Senators Anthony Canella and Sam Blakesley agree member salaries and boards could be cut back. And Achajian is still full of examples, like consolidating 2 tax-collecting agencies, the Board of Equalization and the Franchise Tax Board.
And once we're able to do that, once we're able to put a cap on our expenditures, I think the tax-paying public will trust us more.
Brooke Holmquist, your Central Coast News.
Right now, there is a bill in the Senate and the Assembly dealing with this issue. One would require board members to turn in a report to the chair of the board or commission detailing the time worked. The other would eliminate board member salaries and replace it with a per diem allowance. Now to a developing story. Speaking of money on the national debt, for the first time, we are hearing lawmakers express confidence that a debt deal can be reached to avoid an economic catastrophe. After returning from the White House, Speaker John Boehner put the chances of a deal at 50-50. President Barack Obama wants lawmakers to work throughout the weekend to reach a debt limit deal. The deadline for both sides to strike a deal is August 2nd. New information now on a deadly shooting rampage, chase and hostage standoff in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It has ended with a suspect turning the gun on himself. The manhunt for Roderick Dantzler began after 4 people were found dead in one home and 3 others in a house across town. 2 of the victims were children. Dantzler led police on a chase and ultimately a standoff that included 3 hostages. None of the hostages were hurt. Dantzler previously served time for assault. It is not clear what the motive was for the killing spree. New tonight, as we go to a live look in Cape Canaveral, Florida, where in just a few hours, NASA's final Space Shuttle Atlantis will take off, or at least many people hoping it will, as NASA is still planning on the shuttle launch despite lightning strikes near the launch pad that you see right there. Experts say because of bad weather, there is only a 30% chance that this shuttle will launch tomorrow. In more local news tonight, police confirmed the identity of the father and son found dead inside a Watsonville home after a 7-hour standoff. Yesterday, a family member called Central Coast News from Michigan, telling us it was Aaron and Stephen Hull inside that house. The woman said that her father and brother were fighting right before the shooting. Officers said today that they're thankful no one else was hurt.
We are saddened at this catastrophic, tragic event for the family. This is an enormous loss, and to the family, our hearts go out to them. We are also grateful for the fact that our officer was not injured and that the surrounding neighborhood was protected as well.
Police say Aaron Hull shot at a Watsonville police officer when that officer first arrived around 5:30 yesterday afternoon. That officer was not hurt. Ironically, today is the 1-month anniversary of the Big 5 shooting in Watsonville. That's actually when a man walked into the Big 5 store, stole a gun, and started shooting. Police stormed the store within minutes and shot the suspect dead. In more local news, a 3-year-old hit by a car in Salinas is doing fine tonight. It happened around 6 o'clock just off Hunter Lane by Highway 68. California Highway Patrol officers say that this boy was riding a motorized bike near his home when this car hit him going about 2 miles per hour, very slow. The boy only suffered minor scrapes. A serial rapist seeking release in Monterey County is staying put. Today, a judge denied Eldridge Cheney's request for a conditional release from the state's violent sexual predator program. Cheney was convicted of raping 3 people, including a 16-year-old in Seaside back in the 1970s and 80s. The president of the LaSalle Union School Board says he's not guilty of perjury. Jose Castaneda was in court today to face 2 counts of perjury. The charges relate to Castaneda's efforts to recall Monterey County Supervisor Fernando Armenta. The district attorney's office says Castaneda committed perjury in April when he said he personally served Supervisor Armenta with recall papers. Also, a convicted child molester was sentenced to 226 years to life in prison. John David Woody, a former volunteer at Big Brothers Big Sisters, was found guilty on 20 counts of molestation. Woody was convicted last November. Central Coast News Chief Meteorologist Norm Hoffman will give you a look at the weekend ahead and the forecast and just how much we are set to cool down. And back to that live look in Watsonville tonight, where a small plane hit a hospital building. 2 people died in that crash. We are on scene and we will check back in with Mark right after the break.